After that, rusting of iron. Rusting of iron. Rusting of iron. Rusting of iron is comes under chemical change. Once the iron converts into rusted iron, that is iron oxide, from that rusted iron, we can't get back the original or fundamental iron. Understand? So, so what happened? So when it reacts with carbon dioxide, water vapor, oxygen, or different metals can react with these non-metals present in the atmosphere. But if in general, see, the rusting especially takes place with the oxygen and iron. That's why I left this equation on board for a long time, so that you can observe it and you can understand, and you need to by heart the equations. Before by hearting what I have explained, you need to understand the equation, then only you can by heart the equation. Understood? So rusting is nothing but corrosion. Once it is corroded or once it is reacted, it can't get back into the original solution. Understood? Prevention of rusting. So rusting means, what do you mean by rusting? Corrosion. Corrosion means when this metal ion, when it reacts with atmospheric oxygen and water, immediately it start rusting. So what we'll do, if it is a limited time, if it is within the less time, what we'll do, we just remove the outer surface by using sandpaper. But so when it is takes for a long time, so the big bridges under the water or the big things which can made with this metal are allowed to expose it to the atmospheric air and water. Sometimes the bridges, like a basement, is completely dipped or present inside the water. So in that case, it's very much favorable to undergo this corrosion. So gradually, when it is continuously rusting, what happened? The lifespan of the metal decreases and finally the bridge collapses. Yes or no? Yeah? Yes. So in that cases, in order to know, we know the future about the metals. Why? Because metals are spontaneously reacts with oxygen and it will undergo corrosion or rusting. So definitely we need to go with the preventive measures. Prevention is better than cure. If it is related to the metals, even to us also. Yes or no? So we are going with the preventive measures. What we can compare with at this present situation, Corona, COVID-19, we are going with preventive measures. Okay, prevention is better than cure. At the same way, we can't allow the metals to undergo corrosion. Corrosion is nothing but eating of metal. When it reacts, the metal get eaten and get corroded or rusted, so that the lifespan of the metal decreases. Not only metal, even it can implies or it can applicable to us also. Am I right?
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am,
Yeah?
what does grease contain?
What, dear?
Ma'am, what does grease contain? Like, what is there inside grease?
Grease
Like,
is nothing but carbon and hydrogen shell.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. If you go to the higher classes, then you'll be having a chapter hydrocarbons. Then definitely you can understand what are the grease and what oil consists of, what are the unsaturated bonds, what are the saturated bonds. All this you are going to learn in that chapter. Yes? Okay. So here we know about the metals. So definitely we'll go with the preventions of metals. Yeah? Prevention of metals. So there are different techniques of preventions. I want to show you the video also. I'll show along with the explanation part. Or let us go with the explanation part first, and then I'll show you the videos. Yes? Okay, when you go to the prevention of rusting, so what is the first application? What is the first application to avoid rusting or to prevent rusting? So keep in mind.
First, we have to.
So we need to keep in mind not only with the small parts or not only small parts of automobiles. We need to keep in mind about the big bridges. Why? Because Because why they go with the iron? Iron is economically cheap. When we compare with any other metals like gold, silver and all that metals, and iron is a strong method. And what is the main drawback of iron? Iron is highly corrosive in nature when we compare with other metals. Okay, so the selection of iron is in few properties. Selection of iron is correct to construct all these things, but there are drawbacks to iron. The main drawback is nothing but rusting. So there is a prevention to not to allow the metal to undergo rusting or corrosion. So what is the first prevention? Applying
Boiling and freezing.
Items get into water.
Applying oil and grease.
Applying oil and grease.
So what we'll do? So first of all, if my boundary gate or iron, so what I just allow that iron to be like that. So what the iron won't be at point, because definitely the oxygen and the water moisture present in the air will come in contact with the iron. So when it is come in contact with the iron having tendency to definitely it reacts. When it reacts, the outer layer gets corroded. Gradually, the beneath layer also get corroded with this oxygen and water. So definitely the railing or the gate becomes soft and finally it will be collapsed. So first of all, when I want to build a railing or a gate, okay, so definitely what I do? So immediately I just apply oil or grease to it. Okay, when I apply oil or grease to it, it forms that oil or grease, it forms a thin layer on the surface of the iron.
Ma'am, will it the oil will stop oxygen from coming into contact to iron, right?
It won't stop still. It won't stop. It just forms a thin layer. So how we are wearing a mask? Why we are wearing a mask?
Protective layer?
It's like a protective layer. Bhavya, it's like a protective layer. So this protective layer won't stop corona, but up to some extent we can avoid the effect of it by making a thin layer or 2-3 layers of mask. At the same time, this oil and grease acts like a mask on the surface of iron, so it won't allow the direct attack of this oil and water. Why? Because oil and this oil forms a thin layer. Why? Because it won't allow the oxygen to penetrate or to pass deep inside the or to be in contact with iron. Or the other reason is, if any moisture is placed in the atmosphere, it forms, or we can see the drops of the surface of oil. It won't allow it to penetrate inside the layer and attack towards the iron. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Yes, this is one of the preventive measures. The other preventive measure is nothing but applying paint.
Ma'am, can I ask a doubt?
Yes, Anna, you're obvious. You can.
Ma'am, so when we have a metal which is nice, it's new, and as you said that because of water and air, the metal gets rusted. So ma'am, before it gets rusted, if we paint it or apply oil or grease on it, will rusting happen?
No, up to some extent it may stop. Up to some extent. We can't give that. Is by wearing the mask we can give guarantee that it. Yes, dear.
And then what about painting it? Like you said.
I said, na. So what are the preventive measures at this pandemic situation? Tell me, children. First one, wearing a mask. Second one,
Sanitizer.
Okay, social distance. All these are the preventive measures. Okay, so one and one. So there is a chance to avoid corona by all these preventive measures. By applying only oil and grease, it acts like a mask. So once if we wear the mask, we can use whatever we want. We can hold with our hands and we can put our hands on our face. No, ma'am. So what is the second one? Sanitization. At the same way, so up to some extent, every day we can't oil it and grease it, na? So once we'll oil it and grease it, again after some days, again we are allowed to oil it or grease it. So
Yes, ma'am. But like if you paint the
yes,
metal,
second preventive measure is painting here.
ma'am,
Ma'am, can I tell why how painting is a preventive measure?
Can I tell what my
one
doubt
by
is?
one by one, dear. So if your doubt is, maybe your doubt will be having better some other children also. If it's clear that doubt, so that some other children can understand in the group.
Okay, ma'am. So what I tell?
Yeah, dear.
So, ma'am, you said that because applying the paint, it won't rust. So, like, will that happen? Like, will it rust after a time, or after painting it, it won't rust for life?
No, we can't say that paint will be throughout the life. Sometimes the paint will be varnishes or worn out. There may be scratches on the paint. Yes or no? There may be scratches. So when there is a scratch, so definitely there is a chance of oxygen and water.
Water.
Yes, moisture will pass through that scratch and it start rusting. It's just a thin layer on the surface.
The whole
Ma'am, can I tell how?
Let Arna says, I'll give you chance, Bhavya. Yes, Arna? Yeah? Arna?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me fast.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask.
So oil and greasing frequently, like we need to frequently we need to monitor to apply oil or grease. It's an hectic thing to apply. So if it is a big bridge, we can't go ahead and oil it and grease it frequently, na? We can't go. Or we can't go and give frequently the painting also. It's also very difficult. Understood? You understood my point, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, painting is even oiling and greasing only for some duration time, it helps. Like how we are applying the mask or how we are wearing the mask. At the same time, painting also. So more than oiling and greasing, painting is a bit effective than oiling and greasing. I can't say that it completely full effect throughout the lifetime. No. Up to some extent, and it is better than oiling and greasing. Understood or not?
Yes, ma'am.
And even though if we apply paint also, we need to keep on monitoring it. Otherwise, if there is a chance of any scratches, from that scratch, the oxygen and the moisture in the air will go and penetrate or react with the metal.
Okay, ma'am.
I think you got the point, dear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we go with the first preventive measure, soil and grease, painting is far better than oiling and greasing. So there are so many.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there are so many other preventive measures. They are more advanced than this, and we are applying those advanced preventive measures right now. In case of construction of buildings with metal and even metallic statues also. So these metallic
Ma'am, can
statues
I?
are, yeah, Bhavya.
Ma'am, isn't oiling and greasing painting similar to oiling and greasing? Because even while painting, like the paint has oil in it, so both are the same, right?
Emulsion. The paint consists of
What does that
emulsion.
mean?
Emulsion is an oily content present in the paint, dear. We'll use nail polish.
Ma'am.
Why nail
Yes,
polish is
ma'am.
very shiny?
Something like grease is on it.
It's because of its emulsion. No, it's like
Okay.
emulsion only.
Ma'am,
So paint is shiny in nature.
yeah, so isn't like oiling and greasing similar to painting?
Definitely, but it is more advanced than oiling and greasing, no child. Yes,
Okay,
paint
ma'am.
it takes for a longer time. We can leave the gate like that until and unless there are scratches on the gate. Again, we are going to paint it. Otherwise, we can leave it like that. But is it possible for bridges underwater or bridges above the water which constructed for the transport purpose? It is possible to paint frequently?
No, ma'am.
No, it's not possible. So in that cases,
Ma'am, they say, ma'am,
Yeah,
in
dear.
YouTube, when I was just scrolling, they say that, ma'am, in YouTube, like they say that if we like put anything, any rusted iron into Coca-Cola, it forms back. How is it possible? Is that true?
Why? Because Coca-Cola is nothing but a carbonated drink. Am I right? Coca-Cola
Ma'am,
is
so
a
anything
carbonated
that is
drink.
carbonated, ma'am, so
That is,
I
let
mean,
me, let
if
me.
we put, yes, ma'am.
So Coca-Cola is a carbonated drink in the sense it is acidic in nature. Carbonic acid is present. So with the acid, there is a chance of removing the layer. It won't give the permanent solution. It just removes the surface layer.
So, ma'am,
Why?
so does that mean that not only Coca-Cola but anything which has which is carbonated, we can use it to like
Carbonic acid. Carbonated in the sense carbonated acid.
okay, if there is in any kind of carbonic acid, if we put this rusted piece of iron, so it will reform itself, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
So that means what I want to say is, if we apply or if we treat it like in big automobile industry, they'll go with the different preventive measures. These are preventive measures what we are talking. So after rusting, if we get the automobile spare parts, they'll go with the acid treatment or different treatments to remove the rust, and then they'll go for the preventive measures. Understood? Understood? If I want to paint the gate, what I'll do? First of all, I remove the rusted layer of it. Then only I can go with the paint. Am I right? On the rusted layer, I can't go directly and paint it. Na? If I paint directly on the rusted part of iron, so it won't adhere. It won't stick to the rusted layer. Understood what I'm saying here? Yes? Bhavya? Bhavya, is your doubt clarified or shall I go with the same doubt once
Yes,
again?
ma'am.